Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dokkan battle video, and today I want to do a team building guide for the Gammas and Beast Gohan. This is going to be very similar to like what I did for Gogeta and Broly. That video did really well. It seems like people found it useful. So we're going to do another one here. Now, the trick with this one is I'm going to do this video before their banners drop. So right now, as I'm recording this, their banners are like literally like 10 hours away from dropping. Like they're going to be dropping pretty soon. But I'm going to be like, from the moment they drop, I'm going to be like extremely busy. So the one thing I'm going to do after this is I am going to try to stream my summons and then have a little bit of fun with that. And then I'm going to be kind of like gone all weekend. So, but yeah, so what I want to do in this video is I'm going to talk about specific teams you can build that incorporate Beast Gohan and the Gammas. Now, the one thing with it is I've got the units showed up here, and then I'm going to go into my Dokkan account for the team builds, but I do have like kind of placeholder units I'm using because they're not actually out in the game yet. So the big thing with the Gammas is they're a really good support unit, and their leader skill is superheroes for 200%. Now, the thing that's going to be very different about this team building guide as opposed to the last one where I had Broly and Gogeta, there's a lot more overlap with these, so I'm going to be showing you pretty much just like one team build and then just giving you options for both because they both lead superheroes, and superheroes are going to be the bulk of the really good units. But I will point out the units that are only runnable on Beast Gohan's team. So we're going to focus on Beast Gohan team builds, but just know that most of the units I'm going to talk about, you could do Gammas as the lead if you want to, and then you'd be good to go. So you might be thinking, well, why would I want to run the Gammas as the lead over Gohan? Most of the time, you probably don't. Beast Gohan, who we've got right here, is the best unit in the game by a mile. You're going to want to run him as the leader because he's like the best slot 1 unit in the game, probably. Just best overall unit in the game, and he's a unit you want to have on your team, right? So, odds are you're going to want to build it around Beast anyway, so that's what I'm going to kind of do the team builds around. The only reason you may want to do Gammas as the lead is that everybody on their team will get the full 200%, whereas on Beast Gohan, they have to fit on one of his 3 main categories, but then also be Entrusted Will or Movie Heroes, which I think there are some really good units that might not make the full 200 there. So that would be the slight reason. And then the other thing that's kind of good about running the Gammas as the lead is support units as a leader is really good because then you could just float both of these as your leaders. And then it opens up team building to put in a bunch of just powerhouse offensive units to be your rotations if you want to, or you may just want to run like full Gamma rotations and actually try to feature these guys a little bit because they're good enough to run on rotation, right? But for the most part, we're going to focus on Beast. Beast leader skill is Superheroes, Bond of Master and Disciple, and Miraculous Awakening. That hits a ton of ridiculously good units in the game. And then Entrusted Will and Movie Heroes will get the full 200 if they're also on that, okay? Another new unit that we'll talk about is there's a Krillin and 18 banner unit. This will be on Beast banner. They're actually like a really nice support unit you can run. Now what I'm going to say is they don't make my top tier team build, but they're definitely good enough to run as a support unit. They are a dodge focused unit that's going to support the team really well. So definitely like you're probably going to pick them up on your way to Beast. So they're definitely like good enough to slot onto the team, right? So without further ado, let's hop into the actual team builds. We'll talk about some of the philosophy of, you know, how to build a team for these guys, right? So let's head back here, and we're just going to hop into Dokkan here. All right, so a couple of things here for placeholders. This physical Gohan, I'm using as the placeholder for Beast because it's the closest thing we have to Beast Gohan until he actually drops, right? So this guy would represent Beast Gohan as the leader, and then I just have one of these login unit Gammas to represent the LR Gammas, right? So this, to me, I feel like would be a pretty dang top-tier team build. I think this is what I'm going to try early on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Beast as my leader. And then I think the UI Goku and Evolution Vegeta, they're just like clear-cut like top 5 units in the game. They're like so freaking good. So just keep in mind, like the moment you summon Beast, they're not good yet. But just have them primed and ready because literally I think a week after the banners drop for Beast, these guys are going to Easy A. And they're going to be gods. So you want to run them, okay? We do currently have their Easy A, and they're absolutely ridiculous in the orb change, which is very beneficial to the team. So you could almost float these guys as like a support unit that's orb changing, or you could run them on rotation. And then you've got Gogeta, right? So the new Gogeta, and then we would float the LR Gammas as like our top tier support unit. This to me would be like the ideal kind of top tier team build. The thing that's really cool about this entire team build is this whole team is built off of what is summonable on the banners. UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta, I believe, are both on Beast Gohan's banner. This guy was just featured on one of the banners we just had. And then Gogeta had his own banner, right? And then the LR Gammas will be on another banner. Now, you do have to jump to multiple banners, but if you're someone that's summoned enough on all the banners, you could actually build this whole team just off of the anniversary, which is really great for a new player. And this team here, I think, is going to be able to clobber pretty much all of the game. Now, the one thing you want to keep in mind for team building, there isn't one like perfect team build for everything. I think you always will make tweaks and adjustments based on the content, right? So what I want to go through next is go through the options, and let me tell you, there are a ton of options you can run. And what I've done is I've pulled out options based on Beast Gohan's leader skill, but a lot of them are on superheroes. I'll try to point out the one, so in case you want to run Gammas as the lead, most of what I've talked about is going to work. This whole team build is superheroes. So you simply could swap, you could put the Gammas up here in Beast slot. If you want to have 2 Gammas instead of 2 Beasts, you certainly can do that, right? And this whole team build would work on superheroes. So let's talk about some other things you can run. I think Orange Piccolo definitely needs to be noted because he's still ridiculously good, still one of the best units in the game. The thing that's very notable too about Orange Piccolo is he does activate Beast Gohan's unit super attack. You don't have to, like, Beast is insane without the unit super. Like, you don't have to have it. There are some nice perks to it, but if you want to have the unit super, Orange Piccolo is a great unit you can run along on the team. The other thing I should point out is the actual unit, this physical Ultimate Gohan, is another great, like, he's actually a pretty solid linking partner with Beast that you could run together if you wanted to, okay? So a couple of units there right away to talk about. The original summonable Gammas, I believe, are both still good enough to run, more notably STR Gamma 1. Now, if you want to run the Gammas at their peak, you would actually want to run a Gamma rotation. So if you like the Gammas, I would say I would only run Gamma 1 if you pick up LR Gamma 1 and 2 and you want to run them as a rotation. They're actually going to be really good as a rotation. I think Gamma 2 still works because he has, like, his defense gets high enough to handle most normals, and he does have a nullification in his back pocket for super attacks. Gamma 2 won't be able to tank the big super attacks of the top tier bosses, but if they are Ki Blast supers, he can nullify, and that's good enough. And he's like an attack support unit and key support unit. So Gamma 2, I think, is still like a very runnable unit. This unit I'm using as a substitute, so that Krillin in 18 I just showed. This would be the AGL, like, Police Officer Krillin in 18 card that you would get on Beast Banner. I think they're definitely good enough to run as a floating support dodge unit. STR UI Goku, we just got his easy. I think he's also ridiculously good, especially if you want to do a rotation of him with AGL UI Goku, you certainly can do that. This guy is, like, ridiculously good, like, insane. The only reason you didn't see him on the front page is, like, there are so many ridiculously good units, right? So even though I'm showing you this is what I feel like is probably the best team build, there are, like, so many top tier options you can slot in, right? This Pan is a little bit of an older unit. She dropped when those original Gammas and Orange Piccolo dropped, but because she's a dodge unit with support, you definitely can get away running her. So she's going to be a very good superhero support unit if you want to run her. Okay. Some other things, and let me think here. Everything here, yep, everything I've shown here would also be runnable under Gamma's leader skill as well. Now here we'll see a little bit of variation, right? Most notably Broly. Obviously, a lot of you summon for Broly. He is a super top tier option you can put on a top tier team build. So yes, Broly definitely is good enough you can slot in. Broly will not work on the Gamma's team, but if you have Beast, you can run Broly. Okay. Another unit that you can only run on Beast team is this physical Piccolo. Now, I think this Piccolo is kind of a sneaky good unit you can still use. The only thing is if you're going to run this Piccolo, you have to also run Orange Piccolo, because this unit gives you a Scouter, which is very powerful, but you have to have another Namekian on the team to do that. And then, well, let me double check. It's either the Scouter or his transformation that requires it, but... Oh, so actually I think it's just his active skill, so you might just always have the Scouter, but I would only run him if you're running Orange Piccolo anyways, because then you have a little bit of synergy there. Let me just double check here. Okay, yeah, so he just foresees enemy super attack. So he does get the Scouter for free. I was getting that confused with the active skill, but you're probably going to want his active skill. So I would say only run him if you're going to run Orange Piccolo, and you'd almost have to run him on rotation, which his attack isn't going to be crazy, but he stacks defense and has Scouter, which is actually incredibly powerful. I would say this Piccolo isn't like a super top tier option, but I think he's a cool option you can run, especially if you want to focus around Piccolo units. That also synergize with Beast Gohan, right? The year 5s, you know, they're okay to run. You can run them as a rotation. You could bring just the Gogeta and link with the new Gogeta. Something like that is still doable. I've talked about them plenty. They're going to be weak early on, but in a longer fight, you get them the blue, they can actually really dominate still. We have this Vegito blue, which I know a lot of you have. I think they are on a banner as well, so they are somebody that you may have picked up on the summon. So I think they are somebody you definitely can run if you want to. Okay. Some more options just because there's so many of them. And some of these I wanted to actually pull out like some banner units, like not just everything like super high-end like Carnival LR, Dokkan Fest LR. I want to show you some other things you may just randomly have from banners that I think will be usable. Now this guy's Carnival LR, right? So, but he was featured on Gogeta's banner, so you may have picked up that Trunks. He's definitely good enough to run. This guy, not many people are going to have, but I want to point out this STR Kaba. I want to say, maybe a month or two before anniversary, these units had come back on banners. Some of you may have summoned there, but Kaba is known as probably the best one of the batch for the 60% support units. And Kaba supports Superclass STR specifically for 60%. So the reason I want to highlight Kaba is if you really want to juice up your Beast Gohan is Super STR. So Kaba is really, really going to juice him up. Kaba will not work on a Gamma team because he's not superheroes, he is superheroes. Sorry, no, he could work on the Gamma team, but you probably only want to run him if you're doing a Beast team, because what I would do is you're gonna have 2 Beasts on rotation, and then if Kaba's floating, he's always like mega supporting Beast, right? So I think he is definitely a cool option you can run. Now there's some other synergies because Gohan is Bond Master of Disciple and Sibling Bond, and some of these units like the Whis and Vados, like they have some synergy with those categories, and they're actually really good dodge support units. So I think Whis and Vados here are actually like solid support units you could run, especially if you like running like standard setups where you have like your main rotations and you always want floating supports. Like they're definitely good enough to run, right? I think just this God Goku is just a good enough Dokkan Fest you can run. He's once again more of a premium summonable unit. If you're a new player, you won't have him, but he's a usable unit. This Piccolo, I always talk about him as like a movie hero support unit. He definitely wouldn't be like my highest choice. I think there's a lot better options. I kind of like Whis and Vados better. I like the Pan probably better than him right now. But he is like a somewhat tanky unit. It's just he's more focused on movie hero, which Gohan is and the Gammas are, right? But if you're running some superhero units like say UI Goku, Evolution Vegeta, he wouldn't necessarily be supporting them, right? So, but he's another, and it's another Namekian option, I suppose. If you wanted to run physical Piccolo in him, you probably could do that, right? More options. This unit also has synergy. Now, this is a Dokkan Fest, so a lot of you won't have them, but this is the Saiyan Saga Gohan and Piccolo, but they are a Bond of Master and Disciple support, which will support Beast. So once again, more units that specifically work really well with Beast. This God Goku, just another like solid easy A unit you could use who has dodge. Definitely can get by in hard content just on the dodge. You have the Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I just threw him out here because he is like a premium summonable unit. But honestly, I like him a lot better on teams like featuring other Super Saiyan 4s and Saiyan Roar and stuff. I feel like it just doesn't gel as well with these teams. But if you really like him, like he fits on the team, like you could use him, right? Now, this is a unit that would be for Beast Gohan only, not for the Gamma team. This also would not be on the Gamma team. They would be for Beast only. This guy would be on the Gamma team. This Gohan would only be for Beast. I think still a good enough unit you can run. I know a lot of people love this AGL Gohan. You have to feature him on rotation if you're going to do that. I think he actually links fairly well with Beast. So you could run him with Beast on rotation. In a long event, I think this guy's going to be stacking defense with guard. I think still quite usable. And here's the other thing too. The synergy you're going to get here is if you're running either LR Gammas or like just the normal Gamma 1 or 2, that fulfills his Android category and you can actually transform this guy. So I think this AGL LR Gohan is actually like a cool unit you could run. A unit that any player that isn't brand new will have this guy. Like, he's super popular. He's been on a million banners. A lot of players, like, let's say you're like a returning player that hasn't played in a long time. This guy's probably sitting in your box, and I think has a lot of synergy with the team because, once again, gonna link, I think, fairly well with Beast and then have synergy with the Gammas. I think he's a really cool option you could run. Beerus is just, he's a unit you could run. And if you wanted to say link him with Sleepy Beerus, or, you know, he has some synergy with Vados and Whis, he definitely isn't a top tier choice by any means. But if you really like Beerus, he can work, right? And then I've talked about this AGL Gogeta before. Specifically links really well with the new Carnival Gogeta if you want to run him as a rotation. Just keep in mind, this guy's 50% dodge and base, fairly weak. But you get him into blue and he actually starts to cook quite a bit. He's going to be hitting over 10 million attack stats, guaranteed critting with 70% chance to dodge. I think he's going to age very well and is going to be usable for a long time, provided you can get either really lucky in his first phase with your 50% dodging, or you can just get lucky on RNG placement and kind of get this guy to his blue. But once he goes blue, and he goes blue pretty quick, I think it's just turn 4, then I think this guy's great. So I think he's definitely a good unit you can run. And then, like the other video, I did want to showcase some free-to-play options you could run. I think people aren't really going to have a problem filling out the Beast team because people should be summoning like crazy on these anniversary banners. I think between just the featured units, like I told you, that top tier first team build I showed you, they are all available on the banners during the anniversary. But even if you don't get all of those, odds are you're hitting some very solid banner units. Like, you might have got Int Whis or Int Vados or something, right? Like, you're going to have stuff, I think, to fill out a team. However, if you're desperate and for some reason don't have enough units to fill out a team, these are some very easily accessible free-to-play options. This Beerus is currently, you know, a 9th anniversary free-to-play unit. This Gogeta's the login unit. I did a showcase on him. He's honestly not good. You're literally just putting him there to get some decent links with some of your other units and to fill a spot. But you're going to want to replace this guy immediately. I talked about this AGL Gohan. We've actually had 2 world tournaments leading up to anniversary. We literally just had one this last weekend. If you happen to pull this guy, I think he is a good enough support unit you can run. This Gohan is a superhero farmable unit that's solid you could run. This Goku I forgot to talk about in a previous video, but I think this guy is also solid enough to run. Just a farmable unit. And I talked about this one before just because they're a free-to-play unit with dodge. There are other free-to-play units you can hunt down as well, just if you need to fill a spot. These ones just seem like the most decent to me, right? So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Hopefully, good luck to you guys on your summons. I would urge all players to summon for Beast Gohan. He is by far the best unit in the game. I would recommend building a team. Like I said, this I think is the team build I'm going to start with, but I'm going to change it up here and there depending on the event. I think I'm definitely going to want to run Orange Piccolo from time to time to activate Beast active skill for sure, or his unit super attack. And remember, once again, this is Beast, not this physical Gohan, and this would be LR Gammas, right? Another thing I want to point out, if you are kind of new to the game or maybe a returning player and you just need help in general with team building, please join my Discord. I do have a team building channel in there for Dokkan. And if you want, you post your box in there, and then me or somebody else in the Discord will help you. If you specifically want me to help you, I recommend you do ping me, because I typically only look at stuff if I get pinged. I'm not usually randomly just reading through my Discord. Sometimes I do. But if you ping me, then I will for sure give you a team build, okay? So let me know what y'all think. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.